Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening, my dear friends. This is Jesus being with you here in this way. Coming again to share with you the love and the light and the play and the joy. Please relax yourselves and tonight I would like to speak with you on many things, but most importantly I would like to speak about, let me call it the care and feeding of ascended masters. Another way of saying strengthening your connection with your spiritual guides. To address the issue of your connectedness with your various guides and how important this is, I would like to assist you and give you some tips about what you can do to strengthen this conscious connection. And of course, we will be working, as we always do, energetically tonight. Many are here with me. Many of your guides, in fact, all of your guides have been invited, as we are addressing this evening to your relationship with them. Perhaps they will be able to give you some of their input as well. So there is a family gathered here this evening. It is a family of many dimensions. Nevertheless, it is a family, and it is our hope and our desire that you come to experience your connection with your internal guidance, as I will call it, with the same degree of intensity and reality that you would with any other of your family members that are here present on earth with you. We are going to try to make ourselves a little more real for you, a little bit deepening our connection, a little bit strengthening. It's an ongoing process. But it's very important at this time. First of all, it is important for me to express to you that our connection and our relationship is one of great joy from our perspective. We are not viewing you, we who are your guides, we are not viewing you with any judgment or criticism. We are not checking you daily for your worthiness. We are simply holding out our arms and like your old Aunt Gladys saying, come and give me a big kiss. And your Aunt Gladys was all forgiving. She loved you just as you were. Every once in a while she would slip you a $5 bill or a Snickers bar. So I would like to lighten up your opinion and your ideas concerning these guides that are working with you. I would like to make it a little bit more human and a little bit more playful as much as possible. Serious play, we are working together. We are with you. We are overviewing your experience. We are sending our rays, our presence, our love to you through the vehicle of your own higher selves, through your open door, your open heart, your open crowns, and shielding you and surrounding you with light. This light and love that we have for you, that we share with you, is, as I said, it is non-judgmental. It is not something that you have deserved and so you are receiving it now. It is something that you deserve as a result of simply being in existence and being a human being, for we love all equally. It is important for you to understand this. For if you experience any sense of a judgment or criticism, or if you find yourself unworthy, know that you are not channeling us with these ideas. They are coming from you, from your limited perspectives. We are hoping that you will come into a place of a divine self-love, unconditional love, and open yourself to receive. In other words, put all of your self-judgments and criticisms, a lot of your ideas about what is a spiritual life and your own worthiness, etc., your own past karmas and your own state of awareness. Put it all on a back burner and simply open to us and enjoy the fact that we are with you. And it is a fact. We are with you. There is a law in the universe, you might call it, that beings who have attained to a certain level of enlightenment or realization begin to feel within them a great outpouring of love and compassion for all, a great tenderness, a great sense of a desire to serve. You have begun in some ways to feel this. Many of you have felt it for some time. Others are beginning to open to this. As you experience more and more love, you desire to be more and more of service to others, to share it. And so it is with your guides and teachers. We are simply overflowing with a commodity that is quite beautiful, and we are seeking to increase our markets. There is no limit. From an ascended state, one can have a contact with of human beings in the third dimension, as I myself work with many, many, many beings. And there is no end to this love that seems to flow through. In fact, the more beings that call on me for guidance and assistance, the more love I myself experience as it flows through. So you might say that I am channeling to my students, to my friends on earth. And so it is with all the other ascended masters who are working with you. It is a great source of joy and love to us when we feel your acknowledgement of our presence. When we see you receiving our love in your prayers and in your meditations, when you feel it in your hearts, when you feel that love, it gives us great pleasure. This is, you might say, this is what we live for. So what is the nature of this connection you have? All of you sitting here in your physical bodies, experiencing somewhat your spiritual bodies, experiencing your higher self somewhat, the connection there. What is it that you can do to enhance your abilities to experience your guidance? Your guidance is here for you. And all of you have many teachers who work with you. And what is your part in this relationship, I will call it? It is a two-way street like any other relationship you see. In a relationship, if one person is showering love and the other is unable to open to receive it, or unable to experience the feeling of it, then it may as well be that there is no relationship. It may as well be that that person has no one that loves them. So it is with human beings. There are many beings showering love. There are not so many who are open to this relationship. You have an openness to this relationship, so make the most of it. Open yourselves to receive. And how do you do this? As I said, first of all, it is very important for you to put all of your self-judgments and criticisms on the back burner and to be a little bit more innocent, a little bit more humble and childlike, and ask. You would be so surprised at how many of you, even you of high attainments in meditation, forget to ask for what you are desiring in your hearts to experience. It is an added dimension to this relationship that when you call to us and ask for assistance, it magnifies the intensity of our connection and of our abilities and enhances your experience of what we are sharing with you. So I would say your first tip for the evening, to all of you who are taking notes, this is number 1, is don't be afraid to ask for what you want. And don't be afraid to ask for everything that you want. Do not let your feelings of unworthiness or your feelings of inability to connect or inability to transcend problems and limitations. Do not let this interfere with your direct communication with us. It is a point that is so obvious and yet so often forgotten by you. Sometimes you will be in a particular state and you will feel a need. And what you will do is you will say, "Jesus, please help." Or you might scream, "Help." Yes? In the moment that you speak my name or think my name, I am there to help you. And at that moment, I am showering my presence upon you. And yet it would be my desire at that time that not only were you to yell help, but that you might be a little more specific with what you want help with. Is there a boulder about to fall on your head, or do you want a manicure? You see, there are various degrees of need, various degrees and many ways that we can be of service. Do you need a healing? Are you having a problem in your relationship with your guidance? Are you having a problem even knowing who your spirit guides are? Call on me and ask me to help you. I will get in touch with those little rascals for you and bring them around. You see, ask for what you want. Don't be afraid to that your requests may seem unimportant. Don't be afraid that you are not worthy to receive them. It is very important now for you to be as specific as you want. Sometimes you are not sure what it is that you need, but you know you need something. You just don't feel quite right. You just don't feel connected. Talk to us. Those of us who are your guides have open ears. We are waiting to hear what your experience is. You can have conversations with us, and we will listen to you. And if you open yourself, perhaps you will be able to hear us addressing your questions and concerns. It is our intention that all of you be able to experience this telepathic communication with ascended beings. It is important. It is not something that you can accomplish overnight if you have not yet done so, but it is something that is within your grasp to do. So ask for whatever it is you desire. Put us on the spot a little bit. Test us. Of course, there are times when you will call and ask to feel our presence, and you may not feel it in the way that you would have expected to. Yes. There are times when you are processing emotion, or other clouds or static are somewhat interfering. When you are in a state where your receptivity is less. This is a common occurrence. I know you all know what I am speaking of. This does not mean that we are not with you. And this does not mean that it is not important for you to ask for us. We will come through and do our best to clear and to make that connection regardless. There are times when you may ask of your guides for something that seems entirely appropriate to you and entirely reasonable. Yes, please, Babaji, I need a new Mercedes-Benz. It could be anything. There are many requests, and all of your requests are weighed against our highest wisdom, you might say, concerning your level of growth, attainment, and need. So that if you are asking for something and you do not feel an immediate response, or perhaps you feel that there is no response, this is not an indication to you that we are not with you and listening. In fact, it is more of an indication that what you are asking for perhaps is not in your highest interest to receive at this time. Or perhaps it is something that will be taking some time to manifest, and we will begin to work with you internally in your growth experience to assist you to manifest that, or to be ready to receive that thing that you are asking for. So there is an element of patience and faith also. And trust, I would say, trusting that we are of a somewhat higher perspective than you, and that we do have your highest interest at heart. Perhaps you are asking for $1 million, but perhaps if you received $1 million tomorrow, you would forget completely about meditation and your ascension path, and you would take a world cruise and indulge in all sorts of bizarre activities. Perhaps this request would not be answered. For we have a contract with your higher selves, you might say. And that contract is that in this lifetime that you are existing in this third dimensional life, you are desiring maximum growth, maximum enlightenment, and you are desiring to attain your ascension and to be servants of the light. So, you see, our prior contract may outweigh your immediately perceived needs. So there is an element of trust there too. So a way that you can ask for us, I would call this tip number 2, is to do prayers or affirmations. Let us say you are having difficulty with your meditation. Let us say, for example, you may be going through some emotional clearing, and ordinarily you would be able to sit and meditate for an hour, and you sit down and you cannot focus, and you are experiencing difficulties. I'm sure none of you ever experienced that. But should this ever happen to you, I would suggest that you ask for our presence or pray and do some affirmations. Particularly helpful are the I am affirmations, where you say I am before your desired attainment. If you are desiring to connect with Ashtar, let me say, you can say, I am one with Ashtar. This is a little bit more dynamic and a little bit more powerful than simply begging. You are beyond the begging stage. Some of you are very good beggars. Please help me. Woe is me. Well, I'm going to ask you to refrain from begging so much and begin to assume more of your power, and know that you can, by affirming that you are one with us, or affirming for what experience you desire, you can assist us a great deal in creating it for you. You can have more of the power to open to that manifestation. And of course, number 3 is meditation. Well, there are many different beings who, even coming to this channeling group, with very varied levels of experience of meditation. So I will not tell you how often and how long to meditate each day. It is for you to use your own discretion and trust your heart, trust your own inner guidance. But nevertheless, do so. For this is the number 1 way that you can connect with us in a real sense and merge your consciousness with your higher self, so that as we merge with your higher self, we merge with you. So meditate. I would suggest the breath meditation. It is very direct. I know you are all tired of hearing about it, but we never tire of telling you about it. It is that important. If you forget your breath, the next step is that you forget yourself. You forget that you are even alive, and you become somewhat robotic. And when you are in that state of unconsciousness, you are open to be victimized by all sorts of negativities and confusions which run rampant in this world, as you know. So please take care of yourselves and meditate. And in your days, in the midst of your days, don't forget that we are with you, and meditate then also. You can breathe as you are driving your cars. You can breathe as you are doing your work. Pretty simple, isn't it? So from our perspective, we all have different attributes, you might say, and different talents, just as each of you do. We have our areas of expertise. I am, if I may humbly say so, an expert in love. Ashtar is an expert in ascension, in opening you to receive telepathically. Saint Germain is expert in manifestation, among other things. And so we all have various tricks to assist you with. And we have various ways to connect with you. Your experience of me will be different than your experience of Ashtar. Subtly so. And yet, if you are attuned and sensitive, you will know the difference between us. It is important for you to know the difference, at least to have an ability to recognize somewhat. There will always be a sense of grace with any of us approaching you or being with you. And it is most important that you have this ability to recognize your own guides, so that when you call for guidance, let us say that it is Babaji who is working with you directly and one of your guides, so that when you call for Babaji, you know him when he comes. You know him by his feeling, by the signals that he might give you, the way it feels to you. And this is very important. There are many imposters on the loose in the spirit realms, many astral beings who take great delight in trying to confuse human beings. Most of you are not troubled by them, but from time to time there is the possibility of receiving a visit from someone impostoring. So it is important for you to recognize the real article by the signals and by the feelings, the vibration of the being that you are calling upon. It may not seem important to you in this moment, but trust me, it will be important in the future. You will all probably have experiences where you are in need of guidance and higher wisdom, and you will call on your spirit guides, and you will want to know that that wisdom, that guidance you are receiving is truly coming from that guide, that highest source. This is why you need to familiarize yourself with your guidance, why you need to call upon your guides regularly, and why you need to establish within yourself a way to recognize their presence. Sometimes if a great number of guides are working with you, as the case with many, it will be a little bit difficult to discriminate, but you can. The one way that we work with you is by giving you a signal, individual signals of our presence. Some of you have a signal of simply feeling our presence in a certain vibrational way, a certain feeling within your bodies, within your consciousness. Others may receive a signal that is somewhat more physical. Perhaps we will even come and stroke you on the cheek. Perhaps we will make your hands tingle. And you can ask for a signal from each of your guides This is an excellent way to begin your relationship if you have not done so already. Make it a playful affair. Don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to call on us and play with us. As Babaji would say, playing with the masters is very important. For by playing with us, by being in our company in whatever way you can, and this is tip number 4, spending as much time as you can in the company of ascended beings, in meditation or in prayer or in channelings. This gathering is an excellent opportunity for all of you to feel your guidance a little bit more intensely and to get a boost. This is important. The more time that you spend being with us, the closer to our vibration you become. And it is important for those of you on the ascension path to become very close to our vibration, because you are about to become even more closely related with us in the manifestation of your own ascension process. And it is important for you to understand more the way that we work with you, to understand ways that we will interact with you and ways that we will leave you to your own devices. We will work with you on many important areas of your life. Other areas are not so important to us, and we will let you make your own decisions. It is important for you to understand why we are even presenting ourselves to you, why we are giving you this opportunity. And the importance of this relationship and the importance of this time cannot be overstated. We are trying to guide you on a path that is leading toward total enlightenment and ascension. In areas of concern related to this enlightenment, to this spiritual growth, to this unfoldment of your true self, we are most concerned with this area. And so you may find us hanging out in times when you are applying yourself to this growth as well. We are making dates with you to meet you. And where we make a date to meet is usually the next level of awareness from where you were yesterday or the day before. We are stretching you a little bit more each day. We are calling on you to perhaps meditate a little more in a little more focused way. Perhaps give yourself a little more of patience in your attention to us in that way. For the lessons that you are learning are important lessons for you. this time will not come again in this way. This lifetime is very special for all of you. It is a special time for the entire planet, as you know. And being that it is so, we are granted a special dispensation to shower a little bit more intense love, a little bit more grace, and also to work with you a little bit more directly, and perhaps even to be a little more demanding than we may have been in the past, especially for those of you who have committed yourselves to the ascension experience. So we call also for a little bit of maturity on your part, and you are providing it. You are doing very well. As you open to this relationship, as you learn to accept guidance from us and to trust it, in small ways, we will begin to work with you in larger and larger ways. We will have more and more service for you to do. You must learn to trust us, and your trust in us will result in our trust in you. And as you know, service is the source of joy. Service is the source of your advancement, your growth, and your ability to connect with that divine creator. In this we are one, you might say. We are sharing the experience of being servants. So I am telling you in these small ways to connect with us, and in these small ways to learn to trust us, so that as you progress in your level of consciousness and awareness, you can have the opportunity to take on a more service or to receive guidance that is perhaps of a more important nature. By more important, I mean it may be influencing someone other than yourself alone. You are open to receive a great deal of grace and assistance. And you, in your giving yourself, in your sincerity in this process, will all have the opportunity to do this. It is part of your training to be ascended masters that you learn to handle a little more responsibility. It is your choice, of course. It is an opportunity and not a command. But I know that you will discover what we have all discovered, that you can't get enough love. You can't get enough of it. And so you do whatever is required to share more and more, to experience more, to come closer to the source of love. And the way that you do this is by service and surrender to that higher self and that guidance. So begin where you are today. All of you are such beautiful beings. It is, again, a great honor to be addressing you in this way. There are many beings who take part in your gatherings, and much talk about it, you might say. And it is our wish that your gatherings would be spread to other areas, and that there would be gatherings of this caliber throughout the Earth plane at this time. We are doing what we can to facilitate this, and you are doing what you can, I trust. Primarily, in order to spread this experience and the importance of this time, it is most important that you all become very intoxicated. Intoxicated with God presence. This is the prime requisite to being a servant of God. You must become somewhat of a radiator, and you must transcend your ideas and your beliefs in order to become surrendered enough to be appropriate to each occasion. So work with us and give yourselves to the joy of this experience. I know that these days are very intense. On the earth plane, there is much of a cataclysm occurring, and there is much emotional processing and releasing. It makes it difficult sometimes to be in the peaceful state that you desire to be in. We understand this. So there is a need for you to have some patience, but also not to be afraid to ask. There have been great miracles performed for most of you in this room, some of which went quite unnoticed and some of which were quite acknowledged by you. You see, the work that we do is in large part invisible to you. Perhaps we will clear some of your past karmas or something that needs to be cleared from 10 lifetimes, and we will take 30 seconds to do it. And you might say, oh, what was that strange sensation I just had? Mm-hmm. You see that we are working very intensely with you. So know this and have faith in our choices and in our guidance. Know that you will not understand everything that is happening to you at this time. In fact, perhaps you will understand very little of what is happening to you, especially on certain days. And so there is an aspect of faith and trust that you must cultivate also. And again, your relationship with us, your relationship with your higher self, and with us and with the Creator Himself. Your ability to have a consistent relationship with us is that which will give you the faith and trust to carry you through these days of transition. It is not easy when your atoms are not listening to your mind and your thoughts. It is like your bodies have a mind of their own at this time. Your atoms are being juggled and jiggled. Your chakras are being lit up like a Roman candle sometimes. Much of transition is occurring. And the more that this transformation occurs to you, and the more intensity that is experienced, the more you need this relationship, the more you need this trust, and an ability to receive our peaceful presence in your lives. So, don't be afraid to ask. And I will open the floor now to our questions and answers session. Don't be afraid to ask me your questions in this area. If I can't answer it, I will tell you so.
Deeply and comfortably And as you breathe, relax your body, relax the muscles in your body. Just breathe and relax. Let go of any thoughts that may preoccupy you. Until you enter a state of real calmness and serenity. So I thought we could do a planetary healing together. And I'd like to begin by inviting Archangel Michael to be with us. And with your sword of blue flame, sever any psychic connections and completely surround and bless us in a bubble of electronic, all-protective blue light. And I'd like to ask Mother Mary and Sananda, Prince of Peace, and Master Healer to be with us. And to channel your energies through us. So let's just start by visualizing in the center of our circle, the planet Earth. And if you have trouble visualizing, just think it. And let's place ourselves in the center of the circle. And anyone that you can think of who may be in need of love and healing today, let's just place them, any loved ones or family members, in the center of the circle for grace and for healing. And let's just visualize a radiant, all white light glowing around center Earth, around the Earth, around ourselves, and around all our loved ones requiring a healing today. And once again, I'd like to ask Sananda, Lord Jesus, and Mother Mira and Mary to ohm through us to send love and healing to planet Earth. And so let's just take our hands in a transmitting position with your palms facing the center of the circle. And we're going to ohm to send love and healing energies to planet Earth, to all beings on Earth, to all who are suffering or in pain or political prisoners, anyone who is diseased, lonely, sad. Let's just send our love and our healing energy. So let's just take a moment to feel all the love and the kindness and the goodness and the concern in our hearts. And with all our love, let's just reach underneath the earth with our hands and offer the earth up and all the beings on earth for love and grace and healing up into the very heart of God, up into the central sun. Amen. Now and forever, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Versus